Welcome to the Deep Dive. You send us your sources, and we extract the most fascinating, surprising, and crucial insights, making you feel truly well-informed without, all the endless reading. Today, we're journeying way, way back in time, all thanks to you, our listener, who shared excerpts from John M. Auel's The Clan of the Cave Bear.
Yeah, this book, it paints an incredibly vivid picture of a prehistoric world. It centers on a young girl named Ayla who, after being separated from her own people, gets adopted by a Neanderthal clan. It's quite a setup.
It really is. It allows us to explore some really fundamental aspects of early human life and culture.
Exactly.
And our goal in this deep dive is to really unpack the daily realities, the constant challenges of survival, and the profound cultural differences that Auel brings to life in these excerpts you provided. We're going to delve into how this clan interacted with their environment, their methods for raising and caring for their young, and the intricate web of their social structures and belief systems. Okay, let's jump right in, starting with maybe the sheer struggle for survival in such a harsh world.
Yeah, the excerpts immediately throw you into the precariousness of their existence. Ayla's own near-death experiences, like that brutal onset of hypothermia and dehydration when she was following that stream. It really highlights
Oh,
this.
definitely.
The text emphasizes her body's rapid decline, the pain that went beyond simple hunger. It really makes you consider just how vulnerable they were to the elements.
And it wasn't just about finding food and water, right? The landscape itself was a constant threat.
Absolutely.
That scene where Ayla falls down the steep slope trying to get a drink, I mean, a simple slip could mean serious injury or worse.
Right.
It really underscores how intimately and kind of dangerously they were connected to their physical surroundings, so different from our, largely buffered existence today.
Uh-huh.
How did they even manage to secure those absolute essentials, like water?
Well, the sources point to their reliance on readily available sources, streams, obviously, but also that crucial spring located near their cave.
Ah.
That proximity to a reliable water source would have been a massive advantage for the clan's daily life and long-term survival.
Right. And then there's the constant need for food.
It's
It's amazing to see the sheer breadth of their diet in the excerpts.
It really is.
Hunting was clearly vital, with mentions of bison. That image of the dust cloud from a large herd is quite evocative. Alongside smaller game like lizards and even fat grubs, roasted lizards, skin and all,
Mm-hmm.
considered a good meal.
Yeah. It really makes you think about the adaptability of, human taste
Yeah.
and what counts as sustenance when resources are limited.
Totally. And what's equally impressive is their knowledge of gathering.
Oh, absolutely. The excerpts list an almost unbelievable variety of plants. Roots, tubers, pigweed, hollyhocks, willow bark, cherry bark, milk vetch, bearberries, cranberries, even small apples and edible ferns.
Wow.
It speaks to a deep, practical understanding of their environment, almost like a living pharmacy and grocery store combined.
A living pharmacy, yeah. And the division of labor seems quite defined here, too.
It does.
The text specifically mentions the tools used by women for preparing these plant-based foods. Sharp stone knives for the hard work of scraping and slicing, and those incredibly resourceful waterproof baskets and wooden bowls used to boil water with hot stones.
Yeah, that's pretty sophisticated use of available materials, isn't it?
It really is. And as we read about these activities, we also get these vivid snapshots of the landscape itself, the stark contrast between the prairie ending abruptly at a cliff,
Right.
the foothills rising to those glacier-topped mountains with their brilliant sunset colors. The environment isn't just a backdrop. It feels like an active force shaping their lives.
Exactly. And those thick, lush areas near streams, they would have offered both vital resources and, their own set of challenges too.
And the changing seasons.
Yeah.
They weren't just a calendar marker for them, were they? They dictated the very rhythm of life.
Absolutely. Hunting patterns, gathering opportunities, the critical need to store food for the harsh winter. Everything was tied to these cycles. Even something like a late spring hailstorm could have devastating consequences for their food supply. It was a constant negotiation with the natural world.
A constant negotiation. I like that. Now, let's shift focus a bit, maybe to how this clan ensured its future, the care and upbringing of their young.
Okay. The excerpts offer some fascinating glimpses into their child-rearing practices. The way babies were carried during travel, for instance, seemingly exposed in a fold of their wraps. It might seem surprising to us.
Little.
But the text explains the practical reason it facilitated easy urination and defecation while on the move. It speaks to a very pragmatic approach to infant care in, a nomadic or semi-nomadic setting.
Which makes perfect sense when you consider their likely mobility. And when they weren't traveling, their swaddling practices are described. Soft animal skins and absorbent materials like fleece, bird down, or even plant fuzz.
Right. Again, just utilizing readily available natural resources for comfort and hygiene.
Hmm?
And nursing is presented as this constant, readily available way to nourish and comfort infants while moving. A very efficient system, really.
Yeah.
We also see the important role of Isa, the medicine woman, in the community. She's described as helping to deliver all the newborns in the clan.
Right. That highlights her central position in ensuring the continuation of the group, doesn't it?
Definitely. We even get a specific instance with the baby Ona and the immediate care she received after nearly drowning. That shows their responsiveness in a crisis and, well, Isa's crucial skills in those situations.
And then there's Uba, Isa's adopted baby, and the warmth of Ayla's affection for her. That small detail about Uba learning to talk, it really brings their bond to life.
Yeah, it wasn't just about basic survival. There were clearly emotional connections and nurturing within the clan.
Okay, so let's delve into the intricate and often seemingly inflexible social structure of the clan now.
Right. This is where we see some of the most significant differences in their way of life compared to maybe more adaptable societies. The excerpts repeatedly emphasize the deeply ingrained nature of clan tradition, how the past dictated almost every aspect of their present.
Hmm.
Their resistance to change is presented as a fundamental aspect of their culture, almost a belief that the ways of their ancestors were inherently correct for survival. Even though the text suggests this rigidity ultimately hindered their ability to adapt to changing circumstances.
Hmm. It's like tradition became a trap.
Kind of, yeah. What's
Yeah.
particularly interesting is the idea that while inventions might occur, they weren't readily embraced or integrated into their practices.
It's a powerful illustration of the inertia of tradition.
Hmm.
And the division of roles between men and women appears quite rigid, too.
Very much so. Men were primarily responsible for hunting, leadership, and certain esoteric rituals, while women focused on gathering, preparing food, and the care of children, along with their own set of rituals.
Even something like the customary averted gazes during conversations. That speaks volumes about their social hierarchy and expected interactions, doesn't it?
It really does. And the status and importance of individuals like Isa, the medicine woman, and Kreb Magor, the magician or holy man, are clearly defined.
Right.
What's fascinating is the complementary nature of their roles in matters of health and well-being. Isa seems to act as an intermediary with protective spirits, whereas the Magyar, is portrayed as directly interceding with them.
So like a dualistic approach to the unseen forces they believed influenced their lives.
Exactly. And their belief system is deeply interwoven with the concept of totems. The revealing of a child's totem is a significant communal event.
And the reaction to Ayla receiving the cave lion totem.
Yeah, that powerful male totem. It really highlights the seemingly fixed gender associations they had with these spiritual symbols. It was clearly seen as a major deviation from the norm, a shock.
Definitely a shock. We also see the important rites of passage for young men, like the manhood hunts, exemplified by Brone's first bison kill and the ceremony afterwards.
Right. And the inclusion of sharing memories for the first time in the new cave and Isa preparing a special drink, it underscores the communal significance of these milestones in their social development.
But in stark contrast, the tradition for girls at Monarch, the isolation sounds quite severe, almost dangerous.
It does. And with no welcoming ceremony upon their return, it really emphasizes the different values and expectations placed on young men and women within the clan.
And those warnings given to young men about women glimpsing male rituals.
Uh-huh. And the legends of women previously wielding magic. It hints at underlying power dynamics and maybe a fear of female agency, perhaps.
Interesting point. We also get glimpses into the formation of family units and their mating rituals. The Isa's past with a cruel mate and her bond with Mulger offer a more personal perspective within this structured society.
Yeah, it adds a layer of complexity. And the hierarchy within the clan seems clear. Someone like Ibra, Brun's mate, not questioning Isa's medical practices, suggests a recognized authority based on her role.
So their social organization was, well, a complex system built on tradition, clearly defined roles, and a distinct hierarchy. Let's delve now into the beliefs and rituals that formed the bedrock of their existence.
Okay. Their understanding of the world was clearly shaped by a belief in spirits and their influence on daily life, everything from illnesses to accidents. This belief system permeated their interactions with their surroundings.
So even something as practical as moving into a new cave required specific consecration rituals. What was the purpose of those rituals?
Well, these rituals serve to ensure the favor and protection of the spirits associated with the land and their ancestors, and also to ward off any malevolent entities. It was about establishing a safe and spiritually clean space for the clan to inhabit.
Right, right, makes sense. And Maugre's role as the primary link to this spiritual realm is further emphasized by his practice of meditation before ceremony.
Exactly. It underscores the importance of his mental and spiritual state as an intermediary.
And the use of red ochre paste in various rituals, like drawing spirals on a child's hip for their totem.
Yeah, it demonstrates the symbolic language embedded in their practices. These weren't just random actions, they carried specific meanings and intentions within their belief system.
And the clan gathering seems to have been a pivotal event, not just social, but also for competition and for the leader to, demonstrate their strength and fitness to lead.
Precisely. It highlights how crucial adherence to tradition was for maintaining social order and the leader's authority. Any deviation could be seen as weakness.
And the bull roarer, that distinctive sound.
Ah, yes. That played a specific role in these ceremonies. It was believed to warn away other spirits and to focus the clan's attention on their primary great spirit, Ursus, the cave bear. It was an auditory representation of their core spiritual connection.
Okay. Perhaps one of the most striking rituals described is the confrontation with the captured cave bear during the clan gathering.
Yes. That's intense.
The hunters subduing the bear, culminating in the Maugre's ritualistic consumption of its brain. The text notes Ayla's strong negative reaction to this. It really underscores the profound differences in their worldviews.
It absolutely does. And let's not overlook the death curse as a severe form of social punishment. Ayla herself experiences this.
Right.
It demonstrates the ultimate social sanction within the clan, revealing the power of their beliefs in maintaining order and dealing with those who transgress their norms.
Wow. Okay, so now let's focus more directly on the central figure in these excerpts, Ayla, and the unique and often really challenging position she occupied within the clan.
Right. Ayla's distinct physical characteristics, especially her eye color, immediately set her apart from the rest of the clan. This visual difference likely contributed to her being seen as other right from the very beginning.
Yeah, and her initial inability to understand their language, particularly that complex system of gestures they relied on. That must have created a significant barrier to communication and integration.
A huge barrier. And we see Krebs' dedicated efforts to bridge that gap, patiently trying to teach her their language and the nuances of their gestures, though she often struggled with the latter. It really highlights the fundamental differences in how their respective peoples communicated and understood the world.
But Ayla possessed this remarkable intelligence and adaptability, didn't she?
She did. She quickly grasped basic words and, crucially, developed a proficiency with the sling, a weapon not traditionally used by women in the clan.
Which not only showed her ingenuity, but also began to challenge established gender roles, right?
Exactly. And she didn't just master the sling, she actively used it for hunting. Initially targeting predators to protect the clan's food resources, Brun's disapproval of a woman wielding a weapon really underscores how much her actions deviated from their traditional norms.
And her healing abilities, learned from Ayla, further distinguished her. She showed this genuine curiosity and desire to expand her knowledge, even successfully treating Krebs' toothache.
Yeah, demonstrating a practical application of her learned skills. This willingness to act and heal, regardless of tradition, seems to be a core part of her character.
But her otherness led to significant prejudice and hostility, isn't it? Particularly from Broud.
Oh, definitely. Her attempts to integrate were constantly met with suspicion and resentment from him. She remained an outsider, never fully accepted into their social fabric.
And the circumstances surrounding Ayla's motherhood, that forced encounter with Broud, and then the birth of her son Dirk, who was considered physically different. That just further complicated her already precarious position.
It's a tragic situation, really. It underscores the clan's fear and misunderstanding of anything outside their norm.
And the difficult decision regarding Dirk's fate, with Ayla initially suggesting letting him die, based on their beliefs about bad luck and Ayla's unmated status.
Right. It reveals the harsh realities of their survival-focused culture and their fear of anything perceived as a weakness or, abnormal. Ayla's fierce maternal instinct put her directly at odds with these deeply ingrained beliefs.
So Ayla's initial departure from the clan with Dirk, which Ayla urged, that was a huge turning point.
Massive. But her eventual return and the complex, often unwelcoming reception she received highlight the complicated and enduring ties she had formed, despite all the difficulties.
Yeah, she couldn't quite break free entirely then.
Not then, no. The death of Isa was another profound moment, a deep loss for Ayla, severing a vital connection. The detailed burial rituals, like placing the broken medicine bowl in the grave, really underscore the significance of their relationship and the end of a crucial chapter for Ayla within the clan.
Despite all the prejudice, though, Ayla's reputation as a skilled healer continued to grow, didn't it? Even attracting attention from other clans, like Vaughn's visit.
Yes, her skills were undeniable. And Dirk's own development, his ability to vocalize and learn words more like Ayla, further emphasized his unique nature, setting him apart too.
And then the earthquake.
Ah, yes, the devastating earthquake. Its profound impact on the clan's cave and their whole social structure created more chaos. And it ultimately led to Broud's accusations against Ayla, blaming her for the disaster.
That seems like it was the final straw, really.
It proved to be the final catalyst, yes, leading to the clan's decision to curse her and force her second, and this time, permanent, departure.
Which leads to her encounters with Jondalar and the Zelendoni, a radical shift in her life.
Completely radical. The initial challenges in communication, the introduction to entirely new concepts like horses, and just the vast cultural differences she observed, it opened up a completely new world of possibilities and ways of being for her.
And her eventual acceptance by Jondalar's family, the beginnings of her integration into their society. It stands in such stark contrast to her long, difficult experience with the clan, doesn't it?
It really does. It offers a glimpse of a different kind of community, one that seems more open and accepting of difference, and perhaps more aligned with Ayla's own inherent nature.
And even looking back at her time with the clan, we see her skills as a medicine woman becoming increasingly recognized, sought after, hinting at a future for her that extends beyond the confines she faced there.
Absolutely. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the world of the clan of the cave bear, what are the key insights that really emerge from these excerpts you shared?
Well, I think we've been given a really fascinating glimpse into a prehistoric world defined by constant struggle, intricate social rules, deeply held spiritual beliefs, and above all, that fundamental imperative of survival.
Yeah, and at the heart of this world, Ayla's journey within the Neanderthal clan poignantly illustrates the complexities of cultural differences, the challenges of adaptation, and the emergence of new ways of thinking and being in a society pretty resistant to change.
Definitely. Hopefully, exploring these excerpts has given you, our listener, a much richer understanding of this ancient world, going beyond just a simple reading to uncover the underlying themes and the truly captivating details.
Mm-hmm. We trust this exploration has sparked some aha moments and left you feeling well-informed and engaged.
And now, a final thought to consider. Given the clan's deeply ingrained traditions and Ayla's inherent differences in developing skills, what do you think were the most significant barriers she faced? Were these obstacles primarily external, stemming from the clan's rigid social structure and prejudices? Or were there also internal struggles related to her own unique nature and desires that set her apart?
That's a great question.
And now that she's encountered the Zelendoni in a completely different way of life, what do you imagine her future might hold? We encourage you to reflect on these questions and perhaps even revisit the source material for your own further exploration. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.